Okay, students, I understand that a lot of these indicators are going to look very chaotic and they're going to look crazy on the charts. What this lesson is going to be, this is going to be a quick appendix. So it's a bonus lesson attached to the previous one. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at how to adjust these indicators to make them fit the periods that you have here on the chart more accurately. So this is my approach and this is how I would do it. First of all, I would go onto the charts and I would look at the turning points. We don't really need these arrows anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove them from the chart. Now, let's have an example of something that's a little bit confusing to look at. The parabolic SAR is probably a good example. You can see how it's all over the chart and it's a little bit difficult to see. So personally, I would go into the settings and go to the style. And as you saw previously, what I would do is I would actually make those indications a little bit thicker so that they're easier to see. So I will click OK. And you can see that it's far easier to read now. However, you can see that it's not operating over the intended periods that we wanted it to. There's a lot of noise in between the periods we want to go bearish and between the times we want to go bullish. By the way, in case you don't know, bullish and bearish are just different ways of describing up and down. Bullish is up, bearish is down. So for the stop and reverse, the parabolic SAR, what we can do is we can change around all these different values. Now, we can play with all of them all we like. However, the one you probably want to be concerned with is this one called increment. Now, if you've placed your lines in the same approximate positions to where I have in here, just as an example, what you might want to do is you might want to decrease your increment. We'll go to 0.01 and you can see how that actually lengthens out the signal period a little bit. Now there's less noise. So what if we could take this to an even more extreme level? Maybe 0.005. You can see it goes even longer. Now let's go even more extreme. 0.01. Now you can see that it's starting to operate along the same types of lines that we wanted to, according to our lines here. Now you could maybe go back up a tiny little bit and you can see how you can play around with these numbers a little bit to make them fit a little more precisely compared to the moves that you're trying to get. So this is an example of how to do it with the parabolic SAR. Now, if you like this setup, if you like how this is, you can go save. You can go save as default, or maybe you can take a screenshot of this or maybe write down some notes of the calibrations that you did so that you can refer back to it later on. Be active in your learning experience because that will actually help you understand how these work a little bit better. But of course, this is just one example. Let's go to a different example. Let's go to the Arun. We can pull that one up. And again, this one looks quite crazy. So how can we change this? We can go to the settings and we can actually modify the length parameter here. So what if we were to change that to say 30? That's like double the length of what it was previously. It was previously 14 and now it's 30. And you can see here that we've lengthened that period of time a bit. And now it's fitting more closely to the signal period that we had. This number 30 was just a number that I came out at the top of my head. So if you want to try and fit it to the intended signal period that you have here with these lines indicating bullish and bearish locations, you might want to change that a little bit higher. Maybe you want to make it 40. Maybe you want to make it 20, depending on what your signal periods are. So this is an example of making the indicators calibrated more accurately to the moves you're trying to capture. Now, a word of warning, I recommend that you don't spend all day fiddling with the calibrations bit by bit. Yes, it can be good to make sure that they're calibrated well. However, you can go down a black hole where you spend a bit too much time calibrating these indicators, and it's not really going to give you extra benefit. So that is a quick example of how to make these indicators a little less intimidating so that you can apply them to your charts and to your signal periods sooner and with more accuracy.